All right, if you want to sign high-ticket retainer clients on LinkedIn in 2025, then you are in the right video, because today I'm going to walk you through the exact same system I've used to generate over $1.8 million in cash collected revenue for my agency, LinkedIn Lead Gen Agency, in 2021, and the same strategies that still serve me up to this day, providing a healthy income stream that I am forever grateful for. Stay until the end and you will understand the fundamental steps that make LinkedIn still one of the biggest opportunities in making some side hustle, potentially permanent income for you moving forward. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go. All right, so before we begin, let's understand the lay of the land. So LinkedIn, to this day, is the #1 biggest B2B platform on the planet. Compared to Facebook, compared to Twitter, compared to Instagram, it also has the highest net worth of users. So they have the most money. It also has the highest amount of decision makers that are tied directly into companies. And this might all be obvious to you, but what this is saying is that if you want to talk to, connect, and influence people that have the budget to spend and you're sleeping on LinkedIn, this might be the right time for you to start looking into LinkedIn. LinkedIn is best for mainly B2B opportunities, but we also see a lot of B2C, higher end luxury opportunities getting pushed there. You also see a lot of authority posts that, building personal brands is getting popular on LinkedIn. However, LinkedIn has the opportunity of really positioning yourself as a go-to service provider, specifically in a niche or even a sub-niche, and really collect the riches that are in the niches. So that's the key consideration for LinkedIn. Another thing is that there's a lot more service providers on LinkedIn now than ever before. So again, going back 10 years ago, you can send a lot of outbound messages. It was the wild, wild west. But now the name of the game is standing out. The name of the game is building the know, like, and trust factors, so that segment of the audience actually resonates with you and your content, your expertise, and your unique methodology in delivering that expertise. That's a few key considerations for LinkedIn. The other big thing for LinkedIn is that it has its own ecosystem. So the platform in itself gives you the opportunity to set yourself up as an authority. You can have an optimized profile that gives you that authority, right? You can have case studies, assets in there. And then you also have the opportunity to post content, video content, text content, to start building the authority through your content. All in all, LinkedIn still has a lot of opportunity to connect you with the right people if you know the way to approach it, and then you know how to be able to make the most out of it. Let's go ahead and jump in. And how do you actually go ahead and do this? Before we continue, this is obviously signing high-paying clients on LinkedIn. Let's assume that you already have a service, you already have a way of fulfilling it, you already have great case studies and results for clients. So if you fit these 3 scenarios and then you're serving the B2B industry, then here are the steps for you to follow. Number 1 is you want to establish a pre-sell profile. What this means is that you're setting up an asset that pre-sells your results. On LinkedIn, you have your profile, and then each section of your profile, you have your banner, you have your name, your headline, your about section, your featured section, and then you have your job description, certifications, skill sets, recommendations. What that does is it gives you the opportunity to present a narrative for your brand. What you want to employ here is story selling or story brand strategies, where you paint out a narrative of what you do, how you got into business, the results you provide for other people. If you have a unique methodology with KPIs that you've improved over time, showcase all of those. Imagine, it being a sales page for you that when a prospect lands on it, they're able to visualize themselves walking through the journey of coming on board with your services through the creative assets and the copywriting you have on your profile. A few key things you want to focus on when you're setting up your profile is your banner, right? Make it a clear banner, maybe have a call to action, maybe something that establishes your expertise. Have a clear profile photo, preferably smiling, friendly. People want to interact with friendly looking folks, right? Have a clear headline that showcases what you offer to which industry. And then you would also want to have your featured section. So this is key on LinkedIn because they allow you to put in maybe links, right? Different links for you to be able to showcase your work in the sense of maybe a case study or a video, and then an opportunity for them to book a time with you or learn more about what you do. And then finally, you have your about section, which is a big piece of copy. It's a lot of real estate that you can optimize in order to tell your story. I'm always tweaking and optimizing my own personal profile, so feel free to look up my personal profile, see what I'm up to. I do constant iterations on my profile depending on which campaigns I'm running, for example, in order to build that narrative for the prospect so that once they go into my profile, they understand who I am, what I offer, and then it builds the know, like, and trust factors even before I send a message or after I send the message. Which leads us to number 2. This is a big takeaway I learned from the multi-touch point approach in marketing. So in marketing, you can convert a small percentage of people that are ready now with 1 or 2 or 3 touch points. The more creative you get with your touch points, the better conversion rates you have. And now, if you have prospects that read about you, read about your process, or watch a video, or listen to content of you before they get on a call or engage, there's a higher likelihood for them to convert. So what I do, and what I suggest what my clients do, is creating these pre-sale assets that could be in the form of a document, a PDF, a video, a case study, a white paper, a report, but some sort of asset that walks through what the prospect can imagine themselves going through as a journey, going from point A to point B, you being the guide, and then your process being the roadmap. So if you can paint a picture of what that looks like for the prospects and have it in an easy to digest one-pager or quick video for them to understand, the likelihood of them converting once they consume that piece of content increases. So the second thing you want to do is create that pre-sale asset in order for you to nurture the prospects even before they get on a call. The third thing you want to do is you want to create an ideal client profile list. What does this mean? Obviously, when you're trying to go to market, you're not trying to sell your thing to everybody, right? So you want to focus your widget, your offer, your service to a specific segment of the market. Because here's the key thing. They would rather you be the biggest provider or the best provider for them in that segment versus a mediocre or low quality provider that does it for everybody else. So go for the higher quality, higher ticket, higher value clients and really understand your ideal client profile in order for you to hit the pain points when you're talking to them and know what benefits they want out of your service in order to convert, right? And here's a pro tip for you. When you've identified one segment, try to identify 2 or 3 segments and then find them in your sales navigator, right? Save them as a sales navigator search. So what I do, sometimes I start with AI, I try to build an ICP with AI, but then I take the information from the ICP, I identify their titles, their psychography, their demographic information, their buying habits, their pain points, and really try to understand the profile. And then I would go into Sales Navigator and then find them, right? So I would enter the titles, I would enter the companies, I would enter the industries, I would enter the company sizes, for example, years of experience. And then once you enter all of those criteria, you're able to identify your total addressable market, your TAM, on LinkedIn. So once you've done that, you can save that list, and then from that big list, you can start to parse and segment and group them so that you can start moving on to the next part of the process, which is outreach. All right, so number 4, after you've identified your market segments, and then you have an idea of what you're offering, right? And then you have a funnel, a pre-sale asset, you want to now start going to market. My suggestion here is coming up with at least 2 angles to test for scripting going to market. So you could either have options to survey the audience about bringing something new into the industry, or you could get feedback from your existing process. We're using this process to generate these results. Would love to see if it might work for you, right? Something like that. Or you can go for the expansion angle. We've been expanding this in this part of the country, and then we want to look for partners in this part of the country, right? So come up with different angles for you to try to go to market, and then you want to solidify those angles with real data and results coming from your case studies and KPIs. Because again, your goal is to stand out in the inbox. And most people right now, what gives outbound people the bad name is these people that send generic messages that are not relevant, that don't make an impact, and that just fall flat. So in order for you to avoid that, not become the person being ignored, you want to identify that ICP. So you come up with relevant contextual lines, scripts that would affect, like really target the pain point, and then offer your solution as a way to improve that pain point. Find the angles, at least 2 angles, and then add in real world KPIs that you've done in order to make that message more powerful, right? More impactful. So what you want to do next is start sending messages and start testing them out. Make sure you have statistical relevance in testing. You want to send it maybe to 100 people each, 50 people each, and then see how they reply, see how they respond to it. And you can gauge which one has a higher positive response rate, and then you can optimize for that. You can do more of that, and then stop the ones that are not giving you good results. All right, the next step is you want to follow up and you want to close the deal, obviously. Going back to the multi-touch point conversion metrics, you will expect to close maybe 1 to 2% with your 2 to 3 outbound message sequence, right? They would come down, they would respond positively, jump into a phone call, you make an offer, you close them. But there's a big portion of the market that maybe they're not ready now. Maybe they were walking their dog. Maybe they were in the bathroom while checking your message. So a big percentage of the prospects actually are on the fence, and then they just need that extra nudge. So what you want to do is include another SOP for you to follow up with leads that responded in a positive manner. So what we like to do with our clients and with our campaigns is create an ongoing list. We classify our prospects in 3 categories. First one is the ones that booked a call. Second one are the positive leads that have responded positively or somewhat neutral. And then the third one is your negative leads, right? Those ones we then exclude from the campaigns. But the second segment is a big segment where you can go back and circle back with them, give them the case study, give them a resource, give them another way, stay on top of their minds in a creative way in order for you to maximize that conversion. Those are essentially the 5 steps that we follow, and we rinse and repeat these 5 steps, and we consistently split test different pre-sale assets, different audience segments, different outbound messages, follow-up sequences, in order for us to keep improving and keep getting better and better results. So here's a pro tip for you, is that it really goes back to that multi-touch point approach, right? Because if you think about it from a numbers perspective, again, you'll convert a higher amount the more creatively you can stay top of mind. So if you have an outbound messaging campaign that sends out maybe 2 to 3 messages, you can also do some social selling when you go back to their profile, like their profile, comment on their profile, you would share a post, engage in different ways. right? So the more you can creatively stay on top of mind, the higher amount of prospects you can close. And then if you create the pre-sale assets, the ICP, the messaging scripts, and then you just continually optimize that process, closing high ticket deals on LinkedIn will be easier. It becomes more of a repetitive process and testing, more of like a scientific experiment versus this unknown abyss that is hard to figure out, right? So before you even move on to automation tools and then doing multi-profiles and doing all this crazy stuff, try to master the fundamentals, the 5 fundamental steps, and take your high ticket services or offers to the market with LinkedIn. And then after that, you can move on to seeing how you can scale that, maybe with multiple profiles with ads. And then that's going to be a conversation for another video. But that's it. That's all, folks. Hopefully that helped you out. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. If you have any other specific questions about how we're doing this, how this has helped us become, more financially independent, let us know. Would love to share more insights from what we're doing in-house to help you guys. Until then, I'll see you on the next one. Adios.